the freaking Miami Dolphins over the Baltimore Ravens? Ladies and gentlemen, this is why we love the NFL much more than we love the college football ranks and games and everything, because there's a lot of surprises. A lot of surprises that happen in the world of the NFL, whereas college football is just like, it's all right. The number one team always is the number one team, and if they just lose one game, then they're out of the playoff contention. I hate that. But the NFL is full of lots of surprises. The Miami Dolphins actually showed up, balled out on defense, especially Tua Tagovailoa having those heroics, coming back with an injured finger, but was able to get into that game after Jacoby Brissett seemed like he tore his ACL, but actually did not tear his ACL. It was actually, I don't know what it was, like a knee sprain or something. I didn't see the final report. How's this all jumbled up? But yeah, interesting. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you guys to a brand new episode of Time2Football. My name is Hassan Khan, the host of this channel that we like to call Time2Football. Glad you guys are joining us on this wonderful Friday morning. Hey, it's Fantasy Friday. Fantasy Friday, we always talk about PredictionStrike, the stock market for fantasy football, and then PrizePicks. We just pick the overs and unders on fantasy football projections. We're going to be talking about all of that on this episode. But hey, the Miami Dolphins, 2 straight wins now. One against the Houston Texans. They didn't think they could get it done. Nobody did against the Baltimore Ravens, but they did. So, big win for the Dolphins. You guys are joining us in the chat as we are streaming this right now. Jordan always checking in with us. Jordanian Poppy, I think that's your name, saying, yo, good morning. How's it going? Good morning from Montreal. T2F, yeah, thanks for tuning in every single morning. And you guys are also leaving your questions as well, which I'll get to you guys if you guys stay tuned in through the whole duration of the show. I know yesterday I acknowledged that one guy that said that commented, just answer our questions in the comments, and Monday through Friday my ass. Hey, tune into the show and I'll answer your question. But we appreciate you everyone that is tuning into the show. Let's first start off with NFL news and notes that we do every single day. What's going on? Because we need some injury updates on all these players. You guys are wondering, hey, who's in, who's out? We got a little bit more clarity on Thursday's portion of practice, so we're still going to wait to see what happens on Friday. But as of right now, okay, so the biggest news, everybody probably knows this by now, Odell Beckham has signed with the LA Rams. Now, what does that mean? That means that Odell is trying to win a Super Bowl. Los Angeles is trying to win a Super Bowl. But in the aspect of how he's going to work into the game plan, how much of a role is he going to have, well, I can go ahead and tell you that Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, those two guys, they're pretty much safe. As far as like how much production they're getting, they're safe. They're safe. It's Van Jefferson that's the one that's going to suffer, because I think Sean McVay would like to envision an offense that has Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and Odell as their top 3 wide receivers. And so competing with that number 3 spot is going to be Odell with Van Jefferson. So Van Jefferson is going to be the one that suffers from that. We still have to get a good idea of his game plan and his usage over the next week or two, once he gets more familiar with the system and the routes and the play calling. So Odell though, OBJ, has been signed by the LA Rams. PJ Walker is officially starting for the Carolina Panthers. We announced yesterday that Cam Newton is going to be signing with the Carolina Panthers, but now he's not going to be starting anytime soon. It's going to be PJ Walker. Now they're getting Cam Newton up to speed, hopefully for that game against Washington, which has a lot of ties. For instance, you've got Cam Newton versus Taylor Heineke, 2 former teammates. Cam Newton versus Ron Rivera, former head coach of the Carolina Panthers. So it's going to be a good game for Ron Rivera, we expect. And Cam Newton is going to be probably facing the team that should have given him a shot to be the starting quarterback. But hey, full circle moment. Cam Newton comes back to Carolina. PJ Walker is going to be starting this week in place of Sam Darnold. So Cam Newton more than likely will be starting next week. Julio Jones, okay, this is big news coming out of practice on Thursday. Julio Jones tweaked his hamstring. Oh my gosh. Oh. He was so close to being fully healthy. Julio Jones, yet again, tweaked his hamstring. And that's going to set him back. It's going to 2 weeks, 2 more games. He's probably going to have to miss. That's what I think. I don't think he's going to be playing this week for sure, but the week after and the week after that, just a reoccurring thing with Julio Jones, man. Maybe it'll be this season, maybe in years past with the Atlanta Falcons. He's just, it's just like the minor things. It's nothing like serious for Julio Jones, but it's just like minor enough to keep him out of games. Unfortunately, he is dealing with a tweaked hamstring that he suffered while running a route in practice. So more than likely, he's going to miss this week's game. JaMycal Hasty, the backup running back for the San Francisco 49ers, did not practice on Thursday. Now, he's got more practice time because they're going to be practicing on Thursday since they play on Monday Night Football. He did not practice on Thursday, which means that Jeff Wilson, this is confirmed by Kyle Shanahan, he said that Jeff Wilson is preparing to be the third down back. So, what does that tell us? It tells us that, okay, Kyle Shanahan coming out and saying that Jeff Wilson is going to be the third down back. I think instead of reading it into like, oh, Jeff Wilson's going to get more carries, read into it as in, oh, Elijah Mitchell is the guaranteed starter. So Elijah Mitchell is the way to go moving forward. Ben Roethlisberger, 2 straight days now, did not practice. Has a pec issue and a shoulder issue as well. So monitor his status. It might be just a maintenance thing, but we'll see if he plays. He usually does tough out a lot of injuries. Chase Claypool, another player for the Pittsburgh Steelers, did not practice as well. Has a toe injury, dealing with that, as well as Najee Harris. Now, he did practice, but he was limited in practice with a foot injury, so probably just a maintenance thing, monitoring status. The Vikings offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak, has some ties with his father in Minnesota, says that Justin Jefferson, will see more targets going forward. He says that 9 targets in the last 2 games is, quote-unquote, unacceptable. So Justin Jefferson is in for a bigger workload moving forward. They're going to get him more involved in the game plan. Asante Samuel, I don't know if he's going to be back for this game or not, but he could be locking up against Justin Jefferson, so that could be difficult. But Justin Jefferson, nonetheless, is going to see more targets. We expect that to go into production. T.Y. Hilton has a concussion, but he finally returns to practice. He should play because he went from a non-contact jersey to a contact jersey in practice. T.Y. Hilton is set to make his return for Indianapolis. Antonio Brown. So we talked about the walking boot, and then we talked about how he was out of the walking boot. But on Thursday, he did not practice, even though he is out of the walking boot. So more than likely, unless he can turn something around for Friday, his status is very, very in jeopardy of playing this Sunday against the Washington football team. Alvin Kamara, big news as well for a big-name player, did not practice for a second straight day. He has a knee injury that he's dealing with. Mark Ingram would be the next one in line to get the bulk of the carries. Zach Moss is dealing with a concussion. He is practicing, but he's in a non-contact jersey. So this gives me a lot of hope that Zach Moss is going to play this week against the New York Jets. And if he does, then, I mean, if you own him in fantasy football, he's a flex play. He's a flex. Patriots running backs like Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson, if we want to talk about concussions, are still not practicing. They didn't practice Wednesday. They did not practice on Thursday. Hey, J.J. Taylor. More than likely, Brandon Bolden's probably taken. But J.J. Taylor, if he's available, go get him. Go get him. In that game that Damian Harris left with an injury, J.J. Taylor had 9 carries for 2 touchdowns. Now, it was only 21 yards, yes. But Taylor is set to see the bulk of the carries if Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson both would have missed this game. Now, if it's just Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson would be the one to get the bulk of the carries. Now, if it's just no one that misses time, then obviously don't start Ramondre Stevenson or J.J. Taylor. But, hey, I'm just letting you guys know, J.J. Taylor might be a player that you want to add on your roster because the status for Harris and Stevenson is in doubt. James Robinson returns to practice on Thursday after not practicing on Wednesday. Urban Meyer said on Tuesday or Monday that Robinson should be good to go this week against Indianapolis. Wednesday he didn't practice. We were like, is he? And then Thursday he comes back in unlimited fashion. So, yeah, he should be good to go. Chris Godwin, however, did not practice for a second straight day. Foot injury. You got Antonio Brown out. Chris Godwin could potentially be out. That's Mike Evans now. That's going to be dealing with a lot of the touches. You've also got Scotty Miller that's going to be working in there for Washington. A lot of options, but Scotty Miller is set to return by the way, from an injury. So Tyler Johnson maybe as well. Kyler Murray did not practice for a second straight day. However, yesterday we announced that there's a crazy good chance that Kyler Murray does play this weekend against Carolina. He's very optimistic. DeAndre Hopkins, hamstring injury, did not practice as well. However, there are some good news coming out of Arizona. Even though Kyler Murray didn't practice, DeAndre Hopkins didn't practice. Rondale Moore also is dealing with a concussion and some other injuries. He did not practice as well. But it could be AJ Green. That could be the number one target for Kyler Murray or Colt McCoy, whoever plays in this game, because he was just activated off the COVID-19 list. He is set to make his return against Carolina. And then finally, Randy Gregory, very talented defensive end for the Dallas Cowboys, is set to miss multiple weeks. It's a big blow for the Dallas Cowboys offense or defense. He has a calf injury. They already placed him on IR, so he's set to miss at least 3 weeks minimum. And that is your NFL news and notes for today. Let me check in with the comments. You guys are also asking your fantasy football questions. Yo, Ron Real TV. I'll get to you guys. I promise I'll get to you guys towards the end of the show. I got to cover these guys. Got to talk about these sponsors that I have for today's show. Every Friday we talk about PredictionStrike. We also talk about PrizePicks. Now, PredictionStrike, it is the stock market for fantasy football. Pretty much you buy shares on players that you think are going to break out, whether it be in the short term or long term, and they have a certain stock price. And if they exceed their fantasy football projection, their stock price goes up. Now, if they don't meet their fantasy football projections, their stock price goes down, as well as their price increases and decreases based off of how many people are investing in them. Are they buying them? Are they selling them? That increases the price as well. So, for instance, Odell Beckham, once he was announced that he became a free agent or he signed with the LA Rams, like just from people buying the stock price of Odell, his price just jumped up dramatically. So, how much investment people have in a certain player increases the prices as well. So I'm going to give you some players that you want to invest in. 3 players to buy and 3 players to sell via PredictionStrike, the stock market of the NFL. Now, if you're not playing on PredictionStrike, which number one, you should be, because this is really fun and you can actually make some legitimate money. Number 2, if you're not playing, that's okay. This video will help you get an idea of who to buy into for your fantasy football team in general, like who's set to break out in the next recent weeks or maybe even next year. So let's go ahead and show you some players that you want to go ahead and buy into via PredictionStrike. So the first player that you want to buy, he had a crazy good last half of the season last year. People aren't thinking that he's going to replicate the same amount of performance this year, but I would look into buying David Montgomery on the stock market. Now, here's why. He's only going for $1.10 a share. Very, very low. I think a lot of people sold him when he had that knee sprain and Khalil Herbert came in like, oh, Khalil Herbert's going to take over the number one back. No, he's not going to take over the role. And we know this because in that game against the Pittsburgh Steelers on Monday Night Football, the Bears didn't have to play him. They had a bye week in Week 10. You could have rested him for that game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, could have rested him for the bye week. He would have been even more healthy going forward, but they felt confident in him. They felt that he was very, very healthy. Look at the analysis. Returned to a 3-down role in that game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Had the highest percentage of running back snaps in the NFL in Week 9 out of any running back. I don't know the exact number, but it was the highest number out of any other 3-down back. He had the highest. Like Khalil Herbert was not that much of a factor compared to David Montgomery's usage. He was utilizing the wildcat, goal line, passing downs, etc. His schedule also coming up is pretty good, especially for the fantasy football playoffs. So David Montgomery might be someone that you want to invest in. Only $1.10 a share. I mean, even after the bye week, I think people are going to forget about him. Like during the bye week, so people maybe are going to sell him, and his price is going to go down. So Montgomery might be a player that you want to buy. Player number 2 that you may want to think about buying into, we've got Ramondre Stevenson of the New England Patriots. Now, here's the little analysis on Ramondre Stevenson. He's a long-term investment, okay? Because since the OTA, since training camp, he's been looking like the best running back in New England over Damien Harris. Now, Bill Belichick loves Damien Harris. Like, he hardly talks good things, like a lot of good things over and over and over again on his players. Like he gives them praise, but with Damon Harris throughout the offseason, he was giving him a lot of praise. So this year, I think it's going to be the Damian Harris show. However, long-term investment. Think long-term. Ramondre Stevenson, he looked like the best Patriots running back since OTAs. He may miss this week because of a concussion, and people may sell him if he does because people are going to freak out. Oh, man, he's not as good as I thought. Maybe this was a bad buy. I'm just going to go ahead and sell him. But if that happens, I would buy the dip. So if he plays, which he's going to be a starting running back, if he plays and Damian Harris misses, then yeah, you've obviously got to buy Ramondre Stevenson. If he doesn't play, then just wait until next week, see if people actually sell him or not, and then buy in on Ramondre Stevenson. So that is player number 2 that you need to buy. The last player that you need to buy is actually Eno Benjamin of the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah, it's James Conner that's running things around in Arizona. 11 touchdowns, leads the NFL. However, Eno Benjamin got his fair share of the pie as well. 9 carries for 39 yards and a touchdown. Was in on special teams as well. But then once Chase Edmonds got hurt, they decided, hey, we're up by big. Let's give Eno Benjamin a chance. And he bulldozed his way into the end zone. He's very talented. He's a very talented runner. I think it was Arizona State that he played at, and he ran for a bunch of yards. So Eno Benjamin was a star player in college, and he's only going for $1.01 a share. So listen, he is only projected 4.9 fantasy points this week on PredictionStrike. Do you think that maybe if he takes over the Chase Edmonds role that he could get over that? I do. So Eno Benjamin, maybe for the next 3-4 weeks until Chase Edmonds is out, might be a player that you want to buy and invest in the stock market. Now, a player that you want to sell. Let's talk about 3 players that you want to sell. Number 1, we talked about him before, prior to, just after he got injured. It's Chris Carson. I'm just going to bring him up again because he's going for $3.55 a share. It has a change of 0%. Nobody's really moved on him. But the neck injury, he's expected to come back this week. Okay. The neck injury isn't being taken lightly. Pete Carroll has come out and said that, hey, this is actually kind of a serious injury, and we're going to be cautious with Carson. He's practicing. He's back. He might play against the Green Bay Packers. Use that to your advantage because I think moving forward, since the neck injury is something that you don't want to take lightly, I think moving forward, he's going to just split time with Rashad Penny and Alex Collins moving forward. So I would sell him if I have stock in him. I don't think he's going to meet his projections that are going to be on PrizePicks or PredictionStrike, because the projections on PredictionStrike might just be like, oh, he's going to get 10, 11, 12 fantasy points. But if he only gets like 7, 8, 9 carries, like it's, I don't know if he can meet that. So that is player number 1 that you need to sell. Player number 2 that you need to sell via PredictionStrike is a guy that is going to take the backseat to Odell Beckham, and that is unfortunately Van Jefferson. Very talented guy. Had 7 targets one game, 6 targets the next, 7 targets in the next in his last 3 games. However, Odell is going to be a big factor in this, and I think people are selling on him already because he's down 7.95%. Only go for $1.33 a share. In his analysis, Odell Beckham Jr.'s signing will eat into Jefferson's production. Kupp and Woods are safe. They've always been safe. They're going to continue to be the number 1 and number 2. But Beckham is competing for that number 3 spot. You don't think that Sean McVay is going to get Odell Beckham involved, that they're going to force feed him the targets? They want to make him happy. They want to say, hey, this was a right decision that you signed with LA. We think that you're talented, and yeah, we want to feed you the ball. So Van Jefferson, unfortunately, is a player that you want to sell. And the last player that you want to sell, think about selling Devontae Booker. Saquon Barkley is back. $2.49 a share. He's up 3.25% because he's been killing it. He's been a good replacement for Saquon Barkley. However, Barkley would be cleared by week 11. He should be. Not much significant value out of Booker in the long term after that. I mean, he might split carries. It may not be Barkley that gets a 3-down role as much as he did in the past because I want to be cautious with him. However, I don't think Booker working in a timeshare in a committee is really going to be that much of an asset moving forward. So, yeah, I would sell on Devontae Booker. So those are 3 players to buy and 3 players to sell. Click the link in the description. Use the promo code T2F. If you use that promo code and you sign up and start playing, you get a free share of a player as well as I do. Deposit at least $20, and that can happen. All right, the next sponsor that we want to talk about. This is actually one of my favorite partners that we partnered up with, PrizePicks. Ladies and gentlemen, you just choose the overs and unders on fantasy football projections. Yesterday, we had someone join our show that said, hey, we love your PrizePicks segment because you've been money on this. I've won money on air. Like, I actually won $100. I bet $100 on air live. You can go back. You can watch that. Last week, I almost won $200, but I was kind of iffy on, like, Dalton Schultz. I don't know whether to take the over or the under. And then Devontae Smith, I made that prediction that he was going to get less than 12 fantasy points because of Asante Samuel. Well, then after I made that prediction, Asante Samuel was announced that he was out of the game. So I was like, dang, that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt. And I only got 4 out of 5 correct, which I still doubled my money. I still won $20 because I put in $20 to win 200. But man, I was so close to winning $200. So I'm going to give you some advice that you can win some $200, $500, whatever it may be. I'm going to give you 3 players that you want to take the under on, and 3 players you want to take the over on their projection in fantasy football via PrizePicks. So first, let's talk about the players that you want to take the unders on. The first player that comes to mind is Ryan Tannehill. We've talked about Ryan Tannehill on this segment like multiple times because it's so easy to predict what's going to happen with him. Like, is he going to get over a certain amount of yardage, over a certain amount of fantasy points? 18 fantasy points is his projection, and with Derrick Henry out, this is not feasible. I mean, I'm 75% confident in this, but with the news that Julio Jones tweaked his hamstring, I'm even more confident. I would say like 80%, maybe even 85%, because it's going to be just A.J. Brown, and the New Orleans Saints with Marshawn Lattimore might lock up A.J. Brown. I think Marshawn Lattimore might be injured, if I'm not mistaken, so don't quote me on that. But still, Ryan Tannehill is someone that I wouldn't put a lot of investment in with 2 of the better offensive players out for however long we know. He had 14 points last week against the LA Rams. Cool. That's awesome. But that was because of a rushing touchdown that saved his fantasy value. So he's not expected to get many rushing touchdowns moving forward. But we do love that Air Tannehill celebration. But Ryan Tannehill, 18 fantasy points. I project that he's going to get under that. The next player that we project is going to get under his fantasy football projection, Van Jefferson, 11 points. We talked about this earlier, how Odell Beckham is going to step in as the number 3 receiver we expect in that LA Rams offense. Sean McVay wants to force feed Odell the ball. That's what's going to happen. And if we look at the analysis, though, with Van Jefferson, even if Odell isn't a factor, Jefferson has over 11 fantasy points in just 4 games this year. And one of them, he had to rely on a touchdown to get over 11 fantasy points. Out of 8 games, 9 games, however games they've played so far, I don't think that's very, very feasible. Jefferson is someone that I am confident in, 80% confident, especially with Odell there, that he's not going to meet 11 fantasy points. And the last player that I think that is going to get the under on his fantasy football projection, I'm going to go with, all right, round number 2. Let's see if this happens again. Because last week I said Devontae Smith is going to get under 11.5 fantasy points. This time around, I'm going to take Devontae Smith again as the under because he beat that projection last week because of one big play, 1 touchdown, and more than likely, maybe he didn't get that touchdown if Asante Samuel was there. He only got a handful of receptions. He didn't get that many receptions because the Eagles are more focused on the run. Also in this game, their top corner, Patrick Surtain, is going to be available, and he's going to lock up Devontae Smith. So 12 points is his projection. I think he's going to get under that. Now, I'm only 70% confident just because last week I got burnt by saying that he was going to get the under. This time around, I'm going to go ahead and say that, yeah, I'm going to pick him again, that he's going to get under 12 fantasy points. Now let's talk about the players who we want to take the overs on PrizePicks. The first one that comes to mind is J.D. McKissic. Okay, so Antonio Gibson, what is the news on him? We thought that he was going to get better after the bye week. He's still limited. In interviews, he said that he's felt better and that the shin fracture has been holding him back in his power and getting extra yards after contact, stuff like that. But even though he's feeling better, he didn't say that he was feeling 100%. J.D. McKissic is expected to be the third down back, and they could utilize him more with Antonio Gibson's injury. 10 fantasy points, PPR points, by the way, is his projection. And McKissic has had 24 targets in the last 3 games. So they got to play catch up with the Buccaneers, and there's going to be a lot of passing. So I think that McKissic is bound to get over 10 fantasy points. Even if he gets like 6 receptions, already right there, he's got to get 40 more total yards. And I think that's probable that McKissick can do that. The next player that we want to take the over on, Carson Wentz. Listen, this guy's been a machine. 17 fantasy points has been his little floor that he's been putting up in fantasy football. Carson Wentz has multiple touchdowns in 6 straight games. I am taking the over on 17 fantasy points, especially against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I am confident that he does that, and I'm 80% confident that Carson Wentz can meet 17 fantasy points. And the last player that you want to take the overs on in Prize Pick, it's going to be Dan Arnold. I'm confident that Dan Arnold is now the number 1 tight end, or not number 1 tight end, but number 1 receiver in general. Target for Trevor Lawrence. 17 targets in the last 2 games. Only T.J. Hawkinson is the only tight end that has had more targets in the last 2 games. So I like Dan Arnold a lot. People say that I say Arnold really weird. I don't know. That's just the way I speak. So I'm going to say Arnold. Dan Arnold. 8.5 fantasy points. And I'm taking the over on that. And I'm 75% confident that he gets that. What is that? 5 receptions for 35 yards. I think that Dan Arnold can get that. So, yeah, that is our PrizePicks projections. 3 players you want to take the overs on, and 3 players you want to go ahead and take the unders on via PrizePicks. Now, to show you that I'm not BSing you guys, I do this every week. I lock in my picks live on air. So let me go ahead and pull up the PrizePicks website. Oh, I got to sign in. Oh, give me 1 second. All right, I'm in. Let me go ahead and blow this up so that you guys can see it, and then switch it over to my computer. All right, now we are in, guys. We're in, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead and make these projections. So I can only choose 5 players in one little bet for a chance to win 10 times my money that I put down. So out of the 5 players, or out of the 6 players that I talked about, I can only choose 5. So I said that I was least confident in Devontae Smith. So I'm going to leave him out, and I'm going to choose everybody else. All right. So let's first go here to Fantasy Score. All right. What do we got? What do we got? We said that J.D. McKissick was going to get over 10 fantasy points. That's cool. That's cool. We also said that Carson Wentz was going to get over 17 fantasy points. So let's go ahead and find Carson Wentz. Wentz right here. Awesome. And then actually, on top of that, I see Dan Arnold right there. So, or Arnold. Sorry about that. Over McKissick. Over Wentz, over Arnold. Now we've got Tannehill and Van Jefferson. So if we scroll a little bit, the Rams play Monday night, so they're going to be at the bottom. There's Van Jefferson. Let's go ahead and pick the under on him. And now we've got Ryan Tannehill. He plays the New Orleans Saints. So let's see. Tanny, where you at? Where you at, Tanny? Hunter Henry. Ryan Tannehill. There we go. 18 fantasy points. Under. Okay. Under, over. Okay. I got it. Now, I've been feeling a little bit risky. So I'm going to go ahead and put down $20 for a chance to win 200. Make that prediction. Place entry. Boom. Just like that. So PrizePicks. Link is in the description. Use the promo code T2F. Start playing. Make the overs and unders on fantasy football projections and win some serious dough. Arnold. All right, now fantasy football questions that you guys are leaving in the comments. I'm going to try to fly through this as much as possible so that I can give everybody a shot of having their questions answered. Hey, Mike Bassat, you said that you had trouble chatting with us. Well, hey, now, oh, I didn't put up the PrizePicks. Whatever. It's okay. Let me go ahead and put up this graphic. You said that you couldn't join us for the live chat, and now it's working for you. So that's awesome. Hey, thanks for joining us. Actually, since you've been trying for days and however long, weeks, to try to get your questions answered, I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge you first. Would you go Wilson first game back or Carr versus Kansas City? I really like Carr. I really do like Carr. But I'd start Russell Wilson. Yeah, I'd start Russell Wilson. I'm confident in that. Okay, let me go ahead and acknowledge someone else. Jack, hey Hassan, Big Pat or Hawkinson? I'm going to go Hawkinson. The targets are there for Hawkinson. For Freiermuth, now he has the touchdowns, but he's not really getting necessarily the receptions to be sustainable, if that makes any sense. I think he's going to be a good play. I think he's a start, but Hawkinson is someone that I definitely have 100% trust in. So I'd go with TJ Hawkinson. Aftershock value, Grand Rising T2F. Yes, sir. How you doing? Doing what you do, man. Or keep doing what you do, man. Salute to you. Get your flowers, bro. Interesting. I don't know what that means, but if you want to send me flowers, sure. I want to ask you to help me. I need 2 of the 3 RBs to start. Leonard Fournette, Cordero Patterson, or CMC. So Christian McCaffrey, and if it's PPR, I'd go Cordero Patterson. I'd go Patterson for sure. I started Lamar, Brown, and Andrews. Yeah, dude. I started Myles Gaskin because I had David freaking Montgomery is on a bye week, and like this guy for 6 weeks now, I've been trying to trade Myles Gaskin and like someone else for Javonte Williams, and he's always like, sorry, I've been busy. I'll get back to you. Okay, sorry, I've been busy. Sorry. And then I finally yesterday before the Thursday night game, I was like, hey, I'm gonna send you an offer. I'm gonna send you like 3 offers that I'm okay with for Javonte Williams, and I will overpay for Javonte Williams, but it's time sensitive if you want Myles Gaskin here tonight. And he was like, okay, send it my way. I'll look it over. Send it, didn't look it over. And so then I had to start Myles Gaskin. And he was so close to getting a rushing touchdown. Ugh. I freaking hate Myles Gaskin, dude. I hate the offensive line. I don't really hate Myles Gaskin. I'm just saying, like, just in general. But yeah, I was like, it was just frustrating. I was like, man, I could have had Javonte Williams. Like, just reply, man. Reply. I hate that. You guys have those people in your fantasy football league where they just don't pay attention? Yeah, comment down below if you do. Dan is Kamara will likely not play, so I only have this options: Brandon Bolden or OBJ. Who do I start? If it's PPR, you got to get. I mean, just in general, Brandon Bolden. I think Harris and Stevenson, if I'm guessing right now, are going to miss this game, so I go Brandon Bolden. Bobby, Deontay Johnson or Dearness Johnson from Cleveland or Robert Woods. Hey, if Dearness Johnson plays, if Nick Chubb doesn't play, you got to go Dearness Johnson. Now, if Nick Chubb does play, then I would go Robert Woods. But Dearness Johnson if Nick Chubb doesn't play. Aftershock value. You should tell people I am not a robot. Ha, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that. I kind of went off yesterday that people will be like, they're actually the robots. So like, pick 2 out of the 4. Like they command me, like they want me to serve them, and then they start sending you Instagram messages and Twitter DMs at like 2 a.m., waking me and my hot brunette wife up, and saying like, you reply, you idiot. I'm like, golly, dude, I'll reply if I want. I'm not obligated to do anything. I'm not obligated to do this, but I'll still do it because you guys are loyal subscribers that tune into this live chat. Thanks for acknowledging that aftershock value. Oscar O. DJ Moore could have better chance this week without Darnold. Or, I'm sorry, Donald. No, I think it would have been better with Sammy Sam in there, but I mean, 7 targets minimum in every game this year. I like DJ Moore in like a 12-team league or more. Like, who else are you going to start, So, yeah, DJ Moore for sure. Half PPR, AJ Dillon, Judy, or pick up Ramondre Stevenson. I mean, I pick up Ramondre Stevenson and just stash him just in case, because I think someone else might pick him up and see like the injury news. So I would stash him. But even if Damian Harris doesn't play, then Ramondre Stevenson. If Harris does play or if Stevenson is out, then it'd be Jerry Jeudy. I'm projected to lose by 20. My opponent has Brady and Cup. Oof. It's okay, dude. It's okay. Projections are always right. Always. I was talking to we have a group chat with our fantasy football league They're like, yeah, we're just joking. Projections are always correct. Like, they've been money with Antonio Gibson projections this year. Hey, I 100% expected Myles Gaskin to score 12.5 fantasy points yesterday and not 4 or 5 or however much he scored. Because that's why that's obviously why I wanted to trade him. Why else would I want to trade him? I don't know why they're projecting to score that much. It's like, you know that he's not going to do that. Miguel, good morning, coach. Hey, good morning to you as well. Enlo and Aaron Jones fire. Oh, yes, Aaron Jones as well. Good morning. Start Mark Ingram or Adrian Peterson. Mark Ingram if Alvin Kamara can't go, which more than likely is probably going to happen. Yo. Damian Harris or Ramondre or Jordan Howard from Jack Quaranto. Damian Harris or Ramondre or, whichever the Patriots back starts, I would go with him. Otherwise, Jordan Howard's your only choice. If Kamara doesn't play this week, should I start between Collins or Ty Johnson? It'd be Collins for me, man. It'd be Collins. I can't trust Ty Johnson. Not against the Buffalo Bills, at least. And he's splitting time. Like, he just falls into the end zone and saves his fantasy football day. I can't rely on that. Ronnie, who's good? What's good, man? Needing a solid flex this weekend. I have Scary Terry, Darrell Williams, or Judy full PPR. Terry. Scary Terry, dude. No Fant or Dan Arnold. I'd go with Fant. Go with Fant. Aloha, Rob. Thank you for joining us from Hawaii. Need to decide from Ron Real TV. Need to decide to play J-Rob or Hawk. That's my flex, full PPR. It's got to be Robinson. It's got to be Robinson all the way. How do you feel about Donovan Peoples-Jones or Deontay Harris rest of the season? Melee. Rest of the season, I like Deontay Harris more than DPJ, just because DPJ 3 targets yesterday or last week. Not sustainable. Like this, I talked about this. How Odell's gone. That's going to increase the value of DPJ a little bit, poquito, but like not. It's not. He's going to get 7 targets, 8 targets a game or anything like that. Like, it's going to be Deontay Harris, who's consistently, even on the limited amount of snaps that he's had, like 20, 25 snaps a game, he's been Trevor Siemian's favorite target. So he's going to continue. If he continues to get more and more snaps, Deontay Harris would be the man to get. Rob, PPR flex, start 1. McKissick, Ty Johnson, Gainwell, Freiermuth, also 1 wide receiver, Agnew, Van Jefferson. Wow, that's a lot. McKissick, I guess. McKissick and Agnew. JJ Taylor or Brandon Bolden. If it'd be JJ, well, PPR would be Brandon Bolden. Standard would be JJ Taylor. Half PPR, I'm going JJ Taylor. I think they would be the same value, but I'd go JJ Taylor. I'm favoring him more. Morning TUF. Don't always get to join the streams. Oh, Chris, hey, thanks for joining in. Hey, come on in. But I love the vids. I lost internet during draft round 3. Oh, no. Started 0-4, but killed waivers and trades and ended week 9 as 5-4. Dude, comeback. Don't call it a comeback. When it gets the top team. Yes, sir. Keep it up. Melee. Prediction strike on Mike White. Nah, I don't like him. Temporary. I don't like him. I mean, I like Mike White, the player. I'm talking about, like, investing in that. Like, he's already, like, the top of the top right now. It's going to be hard to top whatever. I don't know what his share price is, but I wouldn't go for it. Arizona, Christian Kirk or DJ Moore, Carolina with Cam Newton back. Well, Cam Newton's not playing. But, I mean, if everybody for Arizona is out, you got to go Christian Kirk, right? I would assume so. Whereas DJ Moore might have, like, PJ Walker thrown to him, and, I don't know. Christian McCaffrey might steal a lot of, like, it might be the Christian McCaffrey show while Christian Kirk, if you need to throw the ball, it's only Christian Kirk that's going to get the receptions. Maybe AJ Brown, or AJ Green. Rubio, what's up, man? What's up, dude? Drop Van Jefferson now with OBJ in LA. Yes. Yeah, I'm dropping him. I mean, I would wait and see. Don't drop him, like, immediately, but, like, keep in mind that he is trending towards the direction of being a must drop. Jeff Fields, keep up the great work. Dude, thanks for joining in every single day. I love it. I drop Alex Collins and pick up Eno Benjamin. I don't know if I'd go that far, Miguel. I don't know if I'd go that far. But do whatever you feel like is best. Rubio, do you think OBJ plays this week? I think he does. I think he does. Like the fact that they have a Monday Night Football game and the fact that a wide receiver isn't like a quarterback. Like Cam Newton's not going to play. Like you got to get him caught up to speed. While OBJ, they both sign on their new teams in the same day. Like, I mean, what do you like? All you got to know is, hey, we're just going to play you on certain packages that you got to learn. Okay, so you're not going to play like a full, like you're not going to be down there on every single play. Just a few packages. Just learn. Okay, slant route, out route, streak, 9 route, whatever you want to call it, post. Like, you know what I'm saying? Screen. Like there's just like minimal things that you could teach OBJ on, and he should be good for Monday. Ooh, I lost my place. I lost my place. Oh, Mike's saying, you were right. The app is required to chat. Yeah. It's required. Tua really inflates Gaskin's value and potential. Yeah, he does. Like it made a huge difference. The difference is night and day. I'm not afraid to start him going forward. Gaskin is good for 10 to 20 in PPR. Well, next week against the New York Jets for sure. I was watching that game with my hot brunette wife, and I was like, oh, this formation, it looks like they're gonna run it. It's 2nd and 2. Yeah, they're definitely gonna run it. Hey, Gaskin is only gonna get 1 yard, and guess what? He only got 1 yard, and at one point he got like 10 yards, and I was like, what the heck is going on? He got 10 yards on the ground. I just don't like that offensive line. I don't, man. I don't. But his schedule is decent, I guess, for the rest of the season. Malcolm Brown's going to come back, so he's going to eat into his touches. But yeah, I just don't like that offensive line. Play McKissick over Jordan Howard from Ariel. Is this PPR? Yes. If it's standard, I'd go Jordan Howard. Kenny Drake or McKissick in standard? Okay, I'd go Drake. For sure. How do you feel about starting Geo in the flex in the PPR league over T.Y. Hilton? This is from Big Gene. In a PPR league over T.Y. Hilton. No, I'd start T.Y. Should I start Hopkins or Corey Davis this week in a half PPR or drop Tony on bye or Davis and pick up Donovan Peoples-Jones or Elijah? Okay, hold on. Whoa. Raider fans since 1967. What are you saying? Should I start Hopkins or Corey Davis this week in half-point PPR? I mean, Hopkins, if he plays, more than likely he's not going to, I don't think. Or drop Tony and pick up Donovan Peoples. No, don't like DPJ. Elijah Moore, no, don't like Elijah Moore this week. I don't like Corey Davis that much either. But Hopkins, if he plays, if not, then it'd be Corey Davis. I wouldn't really drop anyone. Jeff, have you heard anything about Chris Carson? A couple of reports are saying he'll be back on Sunday. My opponent is starting him, so I'm wondering, what do you think Carson's floor and ceiling is? He might be playing this week. I don't think he's going to be that good, that much of an impact player in this game. I think they're going to be cautious with him. Pete Carroll has stated on Wednesday's practice, they're going to be cautious with him with his return. He may not even play, honestly. I know that ESPN's projecting like 12, 13 points. No, he's going to be splitting touches with Alex Collins and Rashad Penny for sure. Like, they want to be careful with this. This is serious stuff. Thanks for the advice. Great show here. Long live Time2Football. Yes. That sounds like it's a cult when you say that. Drink the Kool-Aid. Would you trade Mixon for James Robinson from Nico? They're like the same. I think James Robinson has a better schedule for the fantasy football playoffs, but this is why I'm so against like position for position trades. It's like the other person's like, wait, this is running back for running back. Why would you want to trade me a running back for another running back? Like, what value do you get out of that? Do you think, is there something you know? Like, you know that James Robinson is going to be better? Oh, I'm going to keep him. You know what I'm saying? But I think they're at the same value. I think the touches that Joe Mixon gets is phenomenal, and he's on a better team. While James Robinson has a better schedule, it kind of evens out, so it's not gonna matter. Jeremy, By the way, you guys are asking your question twice. I already answered, so I'm going to give someone else a chance. Does Carson play this week? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. If he does, he's going to be very limited. Chris saying that Gaskin performance last night, he was inches from a TD. I know. And then Tua sneaks it in. Duh. I started the Ravens D. They weren't terrible. Their pass game sucks, but pass defense. And then I started Mark Andrews as well, which he saved me. And then I started Gaskin, which he kind of cancels out Gaskin or Andrews' performance, so it just kind of evens out. But yeah. I had to start Gaskin too last night. He was robbed more than once. Yeah. Kittle or Hawkinson this week? Got to go with George Kittle. Can I drop Chase Edmonds now with a laughy face emoji? Nah. I want to do it. Good morning. Who do you drop next week? Who do I drop next week? Will Fuller? I haven't thought about next week yet. Oh man, a few more are coming in. And I am running out of time, so I'm gonna only have time to answer maybe just a couple more. Who have I not given love to? Wale, Let the Rapper, Godwin, Pittman, or Dearness Johnson full PPR. Pick two. If Chubb doesn't play, it's Dearness, and I mean you might have to just go with Dearness and Pittman because Godwin more likely isn't going to play. I'll answer one more because this is the longest I've ever gone on a live show, so I got to cut this off. Pick up Cam, drop Tyler Boyd from Steven. Talking about Cam Newton? Nah, Cam isn't worth it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and cut the stream off. I appreciate you guys joining us. If I haven't had the chance to answer your question, make sure you guys join us for our live show that we do every Sunday morning. We just talk about fantasy football. I just spend an hour answering your fantasy football questions so that I am a robot. I serve you. I answer question. What is your command? Pick two. Start one. Flex one. Quarterback. All right. Yeah. Anyways, whatever. Hey, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. With all that said, onward.